Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Windward Buddhist Temple's Remembrance Service for December 2025. My name is Neil Yamamoto, and I will be your MC for today. I'd like to welcome and thank Reverend Charlene Kihara for officiating today's service and for being our guest speaker. We'll begin our temple service with the ringing of the temple bell, or Kansho. That signifies the beginning of the temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual, steeped in ancient tradition. It is a calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teaching. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. If you are able, please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by everyone in Pali and English, found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 7.
Saranam, God. Namandana.
Please be seated. Reverend Shar will now lead San Bujo, found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 9.
Bujo mi danyorai ni udo jo san ge ra
We will now have the remembrance of those individuals who passed away in the month of December of any year, as well as pets. When the name of your loved one is read, please come forward to offer incense. Reverend Shar will ring the bell once after each name is called. After the remembrance ceremony is completed, Reverend Shar will ring the bell several times, then begin leading us in the chanting of today's sutra, Gassho to Amida, which can be found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 123. Alden Kusano. Taeko Tashiro. Masuno Asada, Shizue Hirota, and Hisano Nishita. Dean Hiramoto. Amy Tatsuguchi. Yasutaro and Nui Saiki. Yasuto Ishima and Shaggy Tashiro.
Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I Gassho to Amida. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds, their songs of praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play, every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear, bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, namanda.
If you are able, please stand for the recitation, Shinshu Pledge number 2, found on page 6 of the red Jodo Shinshu Service book. Entrusting in the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name,
I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy, revering the light of the Buddha and reflecting upon my imperfect self. I shall strive to live a life of gratitude, following the teachings of the Buddha and discerning the right path. I shall spread the true Dharma, rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding others. I shall do my best to work toward the welfare of society.
Namanda.
Namanda, namanda.
Please remain standing for the Gatha Shinshu Anthem found on page 178 in the purple Praises of the Buddha book. Please be seated. Our temple president, Dennis Tashiro, will now introduce our guest speaker, Reverend Charlene Kihara.
Good morning. Most, if not all of you already know Reverend Shar. She is a minister, is your title associate?
Yeah.
Associate minister at Hawaii Betsuin over the Pali. And through the efforts of Reverend Shingo, he's arranged to have her be not only an officiant minister, but also our speaker today. So welcome, or I should say welcome back.
Please put your hands together in Gassho as I read a poem. Aspiration. Like cherry blossoms are the minds that think there is a tomorrow. But who can tell? There may be a tempest in the night. This is Shinran Shonin's poem at the age of 9 when he was ordained. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, Windward Buddhist Temple family. Thank you so much for welcoming me today and for allowing me to serve as your officiant and Dharma teacher. This morning, I would like to share a few reflections on the year that is ending. Earlier, I read Shinran's poem that he wrote when he was only 9 years old at the time of his ordination. In that poem, cherry blossoms serve as a metaphor for impermanence. Like the blossoms on the sakura trees, which can be scattered to the ground by a sudden gust of wind, our lives too can change in an instant. The year 2025 was certainly an eventful one, and it began with a literal bang. What was meant to be a New Year's celebration turned into a terrible tragedy, resulting in the loss of 6 lives and injuries to 20 others. Because of that tragedy, we have actually seen some changes in our laws, most notably the enforcement of laws against illegal fireworks. As a result, many of us have noticed far fewer fireworks throughout the year. While it came at a painful cost, these efforts, more responsive policing, and the use of drones to catch the perpetrators are meant to ensure that the tragedy in Aliamanu is never repeated anywhere in the state of Hawaii. For the Hongwanji mission of Hawaii, this year also brought many changes. Although some of these changes were inevitable, they still seem to come out of nowhere. Bishop Umitani reassigned Reverend Baba back to the Big Island. Reverend Nishiyama of Jikoen retired and moved to Washington State, and Reverend Mari Nishiyama was assigned to Jikoen. Here at Windward Buddhist Temple, Reverend Kalu retired and is now living in Texas. Along with these ministerial changes, we also experienced the closure of several temples on Oahu and on the Big Island. On a more personal level, 2 very memorable moments stood out for me this year. The first occurred in July during Waianae Hongwanji's final Bon dance. On that same day, my dog, Avia, crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. She had been ill for many years, and eventually I had to make the difficult decision to let her go. During her final month, she suffered from severe digestive issues, constant vomiting, and explosive diarrhea. Fluid would build up in her stomach and had to be drained. And although the treatments helped briefly, the fluid returned within a week. A change in medication only made her symptoms worse. I knew then that her quality of life had declined. and it was time to say goodbye. On July 19th, the day of Wainai's last bone dance, I took her to the vet. Later that evening, I went to the bone dance and danced in her memory. The second memorable moment came on August 19th when I adopted my dog, Tabi. After Avia passed, I had not planned to adopt another dog so soon, but things sometimes happen by chance. I was able to welcome Tabi into my life, and she has become my new companion. Can you guess why I named her Tabi? Tabi are the Japanese socks worn by dancers at bone dances. The word tabi can also mean journey, and that felt right. She has 4 white paws, tabi on her feet. As the year of the snake, 2025, draws to a close, we now prepare to welcome the year of the fire horse with hope and anticipation. With that in mind, I would like to talk a little about the lunar calendar. During the Heian period in Japan, the time of Shinran Shonin, the lunar calendar was in use. This system relies on the Chinese Zodiac, known in Japanese as kanshi or eto, to measure time. This calendar was essential for people to track the seasons and to know when to plant and harvest crops. According to Chinese legend, the origin of the 12 animals that were chosen is attributed either to the Jade Emperor or to the Buddha. Let me share the version of that story from the Buddha Shakyamuni with you. Long ago, the animals of the world were constantly fighting, each one claiming to be the best, the strongest, and the greatest. The Buddha heard about this and reflected on how the animals might learn to live in harmony. He decided to summon all the animals of the world and announced a contest. For myriad reasons, only 12 animals appeared: the rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and boar. The Buddha then told them that they would race across dangerous terrain and swim across a great river. The prize would be that each animal would have a year named after them in the order that they arrived. As the race began, the clever rat realized he was too small to compete on his own, so he secretly climbed onto the strong ox's back and hid in the ox's mane. The ox ran ahead of the others, followed by the tiger and then the rabbit. They crossed mountains and forests, escaping dangers along the way, until they finally reached the great river where the Buddha waited on the opposite shore. The ox entered the river first, swimming steadily. The tiger followed closely behind. The rabbit soon became tired, but found a log and floated across. The dragon used his breath to blow the rabbit to safety to shore, then paused to bring rain to the world before swimming across himself, choosing fairness over using his power to fly. The snake, just as clever as the rat, hid in the horse's shoe while the horse slept. When the horse entered the river, the snake rode along unnoticed. The sheep monkey, and rooster worked together, finding a raft to cross. The dog, an excellent swimmer, followed but took time to play in the water. The boar stopped along the way for a snack and arrived last. As the ox approached the Buddha, the rat leapt from the ox's nose and landed first, claiming the first year. The ox came second, followed by the tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and finally the boar. In this way, each year came to be associated with one of the 12 animals, and each animal's characteristic is said to reflect in the personality traits of those born in that year. In Shinran's time, not only years, but also days, months, and even hours were associated with these animals. Each animal ruled a 2-hour period. For example, the hour of the rat is from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. If Shinran wanted to meet someone at midnight, he might say, "Meet me during the hour of the rat." This marked a transition, a moment from yesterday becoming today. In just a few days, we will enter the year of the fire horse. The horse is associated with independence, determination, and ambition, and the fire element suggests a year of energy and transformation. It may be a time of significant global change, economically, socially, and politically. As we have seen throughout this past year, change often comes suddenly and without warning. This reminds us once again of impermanence. Just like the cherry blossoms in Shinran's poem, our lives, our relationships, and even our institutions are constantly changing. Some changes bring joy, others bring loss, and many arrive before we feel ready. Yet within impermanence, we are given the opportunity to appreciate each moment more deeply and to respond with gratitude and compassion. Sometimes the only thing that we can do is to utter Namo Amida Butsu. As we move into this new year, may we meet whatever comes our way with our awareness, humility, and care for one another. May we remember that nothing stays fixed, and because of that, each moment we share together is precious. Thank you for listening to my Dharma talk today. I wish you all a happy new year. Let us put our hands together in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend, for explaining the Zodiac to us, as well as the traits of the horse year coming up. So we'll be aware of all of that. If you are able, please rise for the Gatha Becoming Free, found in the Praises of the Buddha book on pages 30 and 31, and continue to stand for the Nembutsu, found on page 145 in the same book. Please be seated. Thank you for attending today's service. And now it is time for announcements with Temple President Dennis Tashiro.
Hello, everybody. So, Reverend Shar, as we approach the end of the year of the snake, this year, the snake will slither out and the flaming fire horse will come galloping in. So, hopefully that means it's going to be a good year this next year. I was telling somebody, it was a bad year because I had to cancel Vegas trip twice. All that money that was supposed to come to me. Oh, shucks. Well, hopefully 26 will be better. Thanks again, Reverend Shar. Thank you, Neil, for being our MC. Thank you, David, for being our greeter. Thank you, Prudence, for ringing the Kansho. Thank you, Joy, for playing the piano. And Ryan recording today's service. We don't have guests, but we have a stranger, a fellow member who hasn't been around a while. I think he's busy on the golf tour or something. Paul Tatsuguchi, Cynthia's brother. Good seeing you. Okay, next Sunday will be our family New Year's service on January 4th. Joy will be doing the Dharma Talk, and Reverend Shingo will be the officiant. Being the first Sunday, we will also have an intergenerational activity. And I call on Prudence to tell us what she has planned.
Good morning. I have to recycle stuff, My sample didn't turn out so good, but some of you have done this before. I thought we'd do an art project again. You know those people that you do with the string? If some of you haven't done it, it's kind of fun. Even the kids can do it. So this isn't a real good sample, but when you do it, it'll be better. Okay, so that's what we're going to do.
I'm not good at art, but maybe that. Okay, thank you to everyone who participated in our holiday giving program that benefited Kapilani Medical Center's Santa Workshop. I appreciate your contributions. Members, if you haven't already received the Hongwanji 2026 calendars, we do have them back on the table back there. So take your copy and just check your name off of the list that we have. I'm sure most of you realize this air conditioners haven't been working properly. We have ordered new ones to replace these. Unfortunately, due to the supply restraints, I guess, it'll take a little while for us to get it. They have to find the aluminum in the ground and process that and manufacture. And no, it's going to take a few weeks. Right now, we're looking at right after President's Day, February 17th. So hopefully that date holds firm. Fortunately, the temperatures lately have been cooler. I'm glad this didn't happen in the mid of summer. After today's service, but before refreshments, please line up outside. We're going to be ringing the Kansho bell. We'll be ringing the Kansho 108 times. It's to ring out, of course, 2025 and to cleanse away the 108 human imperfections that cause suffering. Is that why I missed going to Vegas? I better ring that Kansho pretty hard. We'll start with Reverend Shar, and based on what I'm counting, we'll start with 2 rings each person, and we'll keep count. And I think there's just 37, 38 of us here. So once we get close, then we'll track each strike of the Kansho. Okay, then we can have refreshments. Any other announcements? Okay.
Just to let you know that, the altar flowers have been done for years by the BWA in the old temple. And then after we got here and there's no more BWA, we've been working with Janet, Jerry, and myself. We do it in 4-week cycle. And Janet's been doing the altar flowers since the old temple. She's retiring. So this is her last arrangement, so please enjoy. Okay, so in her place, Dana's gonna pick up her slot. And Jerry said she'll do it 1 more year. So I'm looking for another person to replace Jerry. So anybody interested, raise your hands, but not till 2027. Thank you, Janet. It's very beautiful.
Thank you, Prudence, and thank you, Janet. Okay, let's do words of thanksgiving, and then we'll go outside. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Okay, thank you, everyone.